Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Circle. Today, we are joined by a very, very special player who's played with clubs such as Central Under-18s, Iona College, ABC Hockey Club in New Zealand, Cambridge Chill in the Hockey One League, Holcombe Hockey Club in England, Central Falcons in New Zealand, Sorma Hockey Club in the India Hockey League as well, and is currently playing for the East Grinstead hockey team over in England for this season. International caps is a debut in 2019, 93 caps, 17 goals for the New Zealand Black Sticks. International achievements, currently the 2025 Oceania Cup winner, World Cup appearances, Commonwealth Game appearances, Tokyo Olympics as well, plus now a few gold and a couple of silver Oceania Cup medals. Currently the captain of the New Zealand team, and notable achievements of the international stage, the Central Falcons winner in the 24-25 Hockey League season, helped New Zealand get to the 2026 World Cup, and currently works with the Level Playing Fields Association as the ambassador. Please welcome to the podcast, Olivia Shannon.
Hello, it's good to be here. Excited to be on here. And Jeepers, it's a bit of a list you've found as well.
Yes, no, I had to get every accolade in as possible. How are you? And has celebrations fully stopped after that Oceania Cup win?
Yeah, look, pretty tired at the moment. Yeah, I just said before, it's the first time that I've actually put my feet up. My voice is probably a little bit cracked after the week that's been as well. Yeah, but yeah, the celebrations went for a few days, which was really cool. And yeah, the girls deserved it massively.
Yeah, that's in all fairness, I think out of your playing career, that's like 2 out of 3 in terms of the goals in the Asian Cup. That's not a bad ratio to doing that Olympic or the international career there.
Yeah, I know. No, I actually haven't thought of that one yet, but it is 2 out of 3. Both on Aussie soil as well. So I haven't won one at home yet. So that'll be the next one. Win one at home will be
Yeah.
nice.
Um, what like we probably have our own version of it. What was the Oceania Cup actually sort of mean? Certainly between New Zealand, Australia. What's what's the rivalry like for that sort of cup?
Yeah, obviously it's a bit different to Euros, but different to the Asia Games and things like that because there's only us and Aussie. But yeah, I guess it's a funny relationship we have with Aussie. We're massive rivals with every sport, rugby, netball, hockey, and there's always that little bit extra that you have when you play Aussie. But then again, when Aussie go away and play the pro league, you're always probably the first one to support them. So it's almost like a sibling rivalry, I guess.
Yeah,
You hate losing against them, but then you also want to see them do really well in big tournaments and things like that as well. So, yeah, it's as much as we enjoyed that win and it was a bit bittersweet. Yeah, it was obviously we really want the Hockey Roos to go out and perform really well at qualifiers as well because we obviously know what it's like to not qualify for a big major. So yeah, I think that's probably kind of the Aussie New Zealand rival. It's huge down here, and we're such a little country as well. So it's kind of like fighting with your older sibling, really.
yeah. Um, does that sort of relationship help when it goes? You guys win the first game, they win the second, and it comes down to a deciding game, which then goes into a deciding shootout. I think there's a way to win, and you've done it either a more spectacular way or a hard way, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah, I think it was going to be hard. We knew it was going to be really hard. But winning that first game, and obviously it's a 3-test series for Oceania. It's not a tournament, so it's just not a one-off game against Aussie. You've got to actually beat them over 3 matches. So winning that first one's always so helpful because it puts the pressure back on them for the second one, and then obviously them winning the second one and then scoring first and the third. Yeah, we kind of had to fight really hard in that fourth quarter, and we knew that if it went to a shootout, we were in a really good position. We've got probably one of the best goalkeepers in the world at the moment in our goal, and she's bloody incredible. So we kind of knew if we could get it to 1-1, we were sitting in a really good position as well. So I think that was something that we spoke about a lot in our team talk before we went. If we're 1-1, we're not pulling our keeper. We're taking that 1-1 draw and we're going to go into a shootout. We're all confident with the goalie that we had in goal, but also our stroke takers as well. Well, shootout takers ended up having to
Yeah.
take 2 strokes as well. So it felt like the old days taking strokes.
Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah.
Um, what what's that like with that qualification? You've done the hard work, especially with Australia, like you said, going through the pro league. They're constantly playing what seems to be a lot more international hockey compared to you guys. Is is that is that win and qualification for the World Cup a bit more of a right? We're on the right path. We're doing the right things. You know, it will be great then getting yourself in the pro league, getting yourself down through more and actually building as an international team.
Yeah, I think that's a thing that our coach, Phil Burrows, he's very well known down here in the Black Six program. Obviously playing over 350 games or 300 something games for New Zealand. So he's come into our program the last 2 years, and he went to Nations Cup and made some massive changes, and selected a very, very young, unexperienced team. There was only 2 girls over 50 caps. So me and Grace O'Hanlon over 50 caps, and Grace was the
Yeah.
only one in 100 caps. And then from there, we kind of, I guess, had to look at more so LA than the World Cup was our focus. But
Okay.
obviously our focus was Aussie, and we've been looking at Aussie right from Nations Cup. So we've been looking at Aussie and scouting Aussie since February. We were talking about them then.
Okay.
So yeah, and we knew how big this tournament was going to be for us. So I guess stepping into that Oceania Cup was going to be huge for us. So yeah, I think Phil's just done an incredible job. We also had a really good prep leading into Oceania as well. Obviously, Darwin was
Word.
35 degrees, and we'd been in America playing America before they went
Yes.
to camps. And then we actually had a camp in China before we went to Darwin. So we went to China. We came back from America for 2 weeks, then went to China, then came back for a week, and then went to Darwin. So the heat wasn't an issue for us, and that was probably the main thing. But yeah, I think being a decentralized program now, a lot of things are changing in Hockey New Zealand. We obviously don't have the funds to do things
Mhm.
like Aussie or England or Belgium, those big countries. But I think the
Yeah.
way that we're doing it and the way that it's starting to unfold now is it's slowly starting to work for us. And that's something that's really exciting. And we've got such a young team. I'm the captain at the moment at 24, and I'm still, sitting at the younger end of my career. So, yeah, I think it's really exciting for New Zealand, and we've had a bit of a blip the last couple of years, but this has been building for us for a while now, and yeah, it's just
Yeah.
really exciting that we're at the World Cup and we're back, obviously performing with those higher ranked countries as well.
Yeah, and it's brilliant to see, and I think I always like when a team, just like how you're saying, starts nice and young and builds up through together. You can sort of do that comparison to the Belgian team that's just sort of all started to retire there in the men's. They've started all together and worked through. So, if it can work for them, it definitely is great signs then for the team that you're playing on.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's not even New Zealand stuff. Like there's quite a few girls that are playing that I've probably played with since I was 15, 16 and regional stuff. And we're such a small country that you come across everyone really before they even make the Black Six program. But yeah, like one of my friends that I've played hockey right from when I very first picked up hockey stick at 11, 10, 11. She's, I played all my hockey with her. And there's a couple of others as well that we've all played hockey since we were 13, and now we're all in the Black Sticks. So there's also that side of it that is kind of happening as well, which is really exciting. But yeah, we've got one job done, but now it's time to build for the World Cup, which I think the girls are really, really excited about.
Yeah. Um, right. Let's go all the way back then, just like you were saying. What was hockey your first initial sport? Did you play other sports beforehand? What were they?
No, so I didn't actually pick up a hockey stick till I was 11 years old. So I was
Okay.
a bit of a late bloomer when it came to hockey. But yeah, I played rugby. So I've played rugby. Rugby was always my sport. I picked up a rugby ball when I was 4 years old and played right till I was 12. And then I guess around that 11, 12 kind of age, it was you were either going to boarding. I was either going to boarding school in Hawke's Bay to play hockey, or I was staying back in Palmerston North and going to fielding to play rugby. And I guess that's something that I ended up choosing hockey, and went down the hockey path as well. So yeah, I could have gone down either path, but yeah, picking hockey over rugby. And rugby, obviously, women's rugby is so massive in New Zealand as well. But yeah, I guess there's always that crossover as well. Hockey is a physical game, obviously not as physical as what rugby is, but yeah, that's kind of where my hockey career started. And then I went to boarding school, which is 2.5 hours away from where I live on the farm. And then yeah, that's where my hockey kind of started.
Yeah. Just like you said, with rugby being so popular in New Zealand, how was that decision made? Was it just purely based on I want to go to this school, and it was a realization of actually hockey? It's going to be hockey opposed to anything else.
Well, my brother actually went to school in Hawke's Bay, so my parents were kind of pushing me to be like, well, maybe you should go to Hawke's Bay. It's closer to where your brother is. But yeah, I think I was quite small at school. I was a smaller human, so playing rugby was always going to be quite tough for me. It would have had to be the sevens route, but obviously sevens wasn't that big probably when I was that age.
Yeah.
Where hockey was quite big, you could see, the girls at that time in that era were winning, well, making Olympic semi-finals, making Olympic third and fourths at Rio, and also at London, I think they did as well. So yeah, obviously sitting there and watching that was something that was really exciting and excited me as well. And I guess it was a challenge of hockey as well. I played rugby for so long, and hockey was something new, something fresh. So yeah, and there's always something to hockey as well, which is cool.
Yeah. What's the domestic league or structure like then over in New Zealand? I know it's obviously different everywhere, but what's that pathway from picking up a stick at 11 to even just senior hockey without sort of international steps?
Yeah, it's obviously changed a bit now in comparison to what it was like when I first picked up a stick, but we usually majority rep hockey, so you play for your regions.
Okay.
So I played for Rangitikei first, which is my home, and then I obviously went to boarding school over in Hawke's Bay, and Hawke's Bay was where I picked up the kind of, my hockey career really took off in Hawke's Bay. So I played Hawke's Bay under 13s, which was full field, and did that for 2 years, and then I played Hawke's Bay under 15s, so they have an under 15 team. And then once I got to my second year of under 15s, I made the bigger region. So then it went into bigger regions with Central. So Central included kind of like the lower North Island, and then you go to a National Hockey League with a slightly bigger region. That included Hawke's Bay, Manawatu, Taranaki area. So I made that when I was 14, 15, made the under 18 side. And then from there, I continued to play under 18s, but I also had school hockey on top of that as well. So you play school hockey and you play rep hockey. And then it got really hectic for me in year 12. So year 12, year 11 also, I was probably part of about 5 or hockey teams at once. So I had under 18s, school hockey, NHC, which was made the senior women's team, the Central, which was our bigger region. And then I also had club hockey in Hawke's Bay as well that I played on a Saturday. So yeah, it was massive, but I just loved it. And I think that was a thing. And and then when I got to year 12, that's obviously you have New Zealand under 18s, New Zealand 21s, in the mixer as well. And then that's when I got asked to go to a Black Six trial, my second to last year of high school. And then just before I finished end of my year 12, going into year 13, that's when I got a Black Six contract. So my last year of high school, I had to move to Auckland and be in the Black Six program, which was back then was centralised. So yeah all full on back then.
Fair enough. That does sound like a lot of from not playing any hockey to as much hockey as physically possible. Fair enough there.
Yeah, no, it was full on, but I just absolutely loved it. Loved hockey. So yeah.
And then just like you were saying, so then you've obviously got under 16s, 18s, 21 New Zealand set up then as well before seniors.
Yeah, well, we don't have under 16s. We just have under 18s and under
Okay.
21s, and then Black Six stuff as well. And then they've just introduced now it's slightly different. There's not you don't start playing full field hockey till you get to high school, and then
Okay.
then there's under 18s and under 16s now. So
Okay.
that's slightly changed to when I was doing my pathway to get to the Black Six.
Okay. And obviously, like you were saying, so initially when you started, you had that centralized program, so everyone lived and trained in Auckland then.
Yeah, everyone lived and trained in Auckland, so I had to move to Auckland end of year 12, and my whole of my year 13, last year of school, I lived in Auckland, which was a bit of a challenge at the time, being that young and
Yeah.
having to be part of a centralised program and move away from home, move to big city in New Zealand, which
Yes.
big in comparison to the rest of the world, but was massive for me going from a farm to a small school in a small region to then going to a city. But yeah, we were centralised, and I was very, very lucky to play with the people that I did. I had Stacey Mickelson at the time, Sam Child was Charlton, and
Yes.
so had some pretty big names when I was playing in
Yeah.
Kayla Whitelock, Gemma McCaw, Gemma Flynn, and those girls as well. So yeah, it
Yeah,
was pretty
brilliant.
eye
So
opening.
it was a nice group of people to go into as a younger kid, which is always nice, I think.
Yeah, definitely. They were so good. And there was such a massive age gap. I think I was well, not a massive age gap, but I was 17 and the next oldest was 23. So kind of
Okay.
in a bit of a immature 17-year-old probably coming into that program. They were a bit like, oh, how's this gonna go? But no, they were incredible, and taught me a lot. So I'm very, very grateful for the time that I did step into that program, although it was very, very challenging at the time. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, they were so good.
And then when did it become decentralized, and how does that work now?
Yeah, so we got decentralized just after COVID, I'm pretty sure, I think, from memory. Um, yeah, obviously it was a bit of a shock at the time that our program was getting to that point. But now it works. Lots of girls play overseas, so lots of girls go and
Yeah.
play in the Belgium comp, or the England comp. There's a few girls there as well. But yeah, I think it's kind of given the ability for girls to go and do that and experience overseas hockey. But
Yeah.
we also train in our regions, and it's also really good for the balance of hockey as well. Obviously, hockey in New Zealand, we don't really get paid that much. So trying to be in a centralized program when we did get paid a little bit more made more sense. But when the funding got cut, you couldn't really tell girls to be in a centralized program when, it was a bit more difficult at the time. But yeah, now we're based in our regions. So I'm usually based in Hawke's Bay. At the moment, I'm just back on the farm to see my family.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we have coaches based all around the country. And we
Okay.
train in our regions. Sometimes there could be 3 of us, sometimes there could be 16 of us. I play men's club hockey here in Hawke's Bay. So,
Okay.
playing the men's comp just to make it a bit more difficult for us as well, which is real cool. And the lads are always really welcoming. It's quite funny to play in a men's club team, but yeah, they're real cool. So, play for Bay Ferns in Hawke's Bay when I can, when I'm at home, and train with. Obviously, we've got some incredible coaches from the Hawke's Bay region: Greg Nicol,
Yeah.
Shane Nicolese, Joe Hanks. So they're 3 pretty big names to have in a little small region in Hawke's Bay. So train with them. We have 4 girls out of the Hawke's Bay team that are in Hawke's Bay that are in the Black Six program, and we have 4 guys that are in the Black Six
Okay.
men's program, which is insane for the tiny little region that we come from. But I guess that's just a massive credit to the coaches that we had growing up with, which was Greg and Shay and Joe, and obviously Verity Sharland, which is Kayla Whitelock's sister as well. She's a Manawatu girl. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm originally from Manawatu. They're obviously here as well, so can also go train there. But yeah, so that's kind of how it works. We all train in our regions. So it's pretty
Okay.
crazy. When we went to Nations Cup, we flew in and we were probably meeting girls for the first time that our coach picked in Christchurch,
Wow.
that one of our Auckland girls had never met before, and we're getting on the plane to go to Nations Cup. So yeah, it's a pretty crazy system, but it's one that has to work for us, and that's what we have to do.
Yeah, that's interesting. Then just to get that higher level of hockey, you guys just playing the men's league teams, which is I can hear everyone over here certainly having a meltdown at that thought. But that's really it makes sense. If unfortunately the ladies league isn't just as strong, then you may as well. So I'm sure there's been plenty of fun experiences in that.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. Obviously, in Auckland, so we play our club in our regions, so it's kind of a bit
Yeah,
different than probably what England is, but I guess the tier, I think the regional twos are regional based or something, I think, kind of. I don't really
yeah,
know.
I think so.
Sometimes I don't even know how the England club system works. Yeah. But yeah, so we play in our regions. So yeah, it's pretty tough when you come from a small region and it's not the hockey's probably not the best. But yeah, we're very lucky that our region lets us play in the men's comp. They're really open to it. Obviously, if you're based in Auckland or Christchurch, you play in the women's comp because the hockey's better in those regions and there's more people
Yeah,
based in regions, which is cool. So yeah, that's kind of how we get a bit more of our competitive side is playing men's club hockey as well.
brilliant.
Yeah.
And obviously to play all this hockey, you need some pretty good equipment. So
Yes.
what are you using?
I'm a Griffin girl through and through. I've been a Griffin girl since I very first picked up a hockey stick. So it's probably over 10 years now. So I use a Pro 25. I'm not great with knowing my sticks really. I'm very lucky to have Birch who always helps me out with that. So um yeah, so that's what I play with. I've changed sticks. I used to not play with the Pro 25. Used to play with a bit of a straight bat, and then finally
Okay.
decided to get a bow, which has been really helpful. I guess something that I've just kind of stuck with for my career. And then Shay McAleese, who's my coach in Hawke's Bay, he's like, "Shaz, it's about time you get a bow." so
Yes.
so yeah, got a bow and it's been really good. And I just love Griffin. They've been so good to me, and they've been a massive part of my journey for my whole hockey career when I very first made the Black Sticks and to now as well. So yeah, I'm really excited to continue that partnership with them as well.
Brilliant. Because that was going to be the next question. What is your stick setup? It's really interesting to hear everyone's different. You know, they put on 94 million grips, or it's all tape, or it's as light as possible, or as heavy. What's your
Yeah, I played with a really heavy stick. And then I went to a lighter stick and then tried to go back to a heavier stick, and it was all a bit funny. So I play with a bit of a lighter stick at the moment, which
okay?
is really good. Um, but yeah, a bowed stick. To be fair, I'm not a stick nerd. I don't know too much about hockey sticks, which is quite funny. But yeah, I grip when I can grip. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's probably a stick. Yeah, literally, I was known as a blue steel from back in when I was 18. I think I had a blue steel, or 17, probably even
Okay.
younger, like probably 16. I had the same stick, so I've played with the same stick for a very, very long time. Sometimes it's a bit of a personality trait with me. But yeah, it's a really good stick. It's a solid stick, and it's something that I use. And I've used other sticks before, but with Griffin being quite a heavy head, it works really well with me
Yeah.
as well, especially being a striker, and probably helps with how hard I hit the ball sometimes as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really good stick, and I really love it.
Brilliant. And I see you also wear the glove. Is that
Yeah.
something that you've always worn as well? Because we're we're trying to get people to buy a glove because 20, 30 pounds is going to save a whole lot of hassle later on when someone decides to give you a smack.
Yeah, gloves have saved my life a lot. They've saved probably a lot of games. I've been hitting that left hand so many times, and probably being the player that I am I'm quite an aggressive hockey player and get my hand on the ground quite often, probably coming from the rugby background that I have had in the past as
Yes.
well. But yeah, it's one of those things. I guess my coaches growing up always said, protect everything that you can. I remember turning up with trial shoes, and they said, "Why are you going to wear those? You're going to break your toe, and then you're going to be out for however long." It's the same with your glove.
Yeah.
You put a glove on. If you don't have a glove on and you break your hand, then you're going to be out for potentially a month, 2 months, however long a broken hand takes to get back. And that's 2 months that you lose of training. That's 2 months that you lose, like, especially now, if I don't wear a glove to training and I break my hand, that's 2 months I lose building into a World Cup, So it's
Exactly.
really it's really important to just prevent all those things from happening, because when it does happen and you do break your hand, you just wish that you did wear a glove. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's something that, we kinda got drilled into us when we were younger, is wear your glove, wear decent shoes, wear your mouth guard, and save all of those things. So, yeah, which is good.
Coach's dream to constantly be asking to put shin guards on, put your mouth guard on, your
Yeah.
glove.
Yeah.
It's that,
Yeah. But
and dealing with under 15 girls, it's like, right, hey, put shin pads on, please put your gloves on.
yeah.
You're gonna fight me in half an hour when you get whacked.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's also helped. I had braces when I was at school, so mum goes, "You better knock those teeth out, they're expensive." So, "Get your mouth guard in." I was like, "Yeah, fair enough."
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously, so with all your equipment, you get to play these big, amazing tournaments. Which your first one was then Tokyo Games. Was
Yes.
that your first sort of major, um, big tournament then to
Yeah.
play in?
It's my major.
Very different, sort of tournament that you'll probably ever play in.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. It feels like I've been, obviously, well, I have been to an Olympics, but it kind of feels like you
Yes.
haven't, but no one can ever obviously take that away from you. But it was just a completely different experience, and I was very fortunate also to go to the Commonwealth Games, which was, as a bit of a shame to have the two in comparison to each other, but I'm obviously still so grateful to be able to go to the Tokyo Olympics and have that experience, although it was very different. But I guess how many other people can say that they went to an Olympic Games in the middle of a, pandemic? So especially
Exactly.
New Zealand, we weren't sure if we were going to go or not with how restricted we were down here as well.
What was that whole big tournament prep like? Especially like you said, the situation you guys were in at that point, you weren't sure if you were going. Did you just get any training leading up to that, or was it very do as much in your back garden as possible?
Yeah, we were still in the pro league at the time as well, so we did quite a lot of prep leading into that as well. So we were also centralised, which was helpful, but it
Yeah.
was really it was a bit of a crazy time because obviously Auckland is the big city, so
Mhm.
sometimes Auckland would just be in lockdown, so we would have to kind of escape Auckland and race out of the Auckland region to then try to get to train in a different region. But then again, if when we were in Auckland, we trained as much as we could, but it was also middle of winter for us and going to one of the hottest Olympics that's ever been. We spent a lot of
Yes.
time in heat chambers, and spa pools and saunas. The craziest one we actually had to do was the old black trash bags that, yeah, I don't know if you have them over in
Yes.
England. Yeah. We had to cut those up and put them on our skin and wear thermals and pants and beanies and play under 18, under 21 boys, just to get used to the heat because obviously we didn't have that. And then we went to Perth and played our Perth Pro League in Perth and got to Perth, and we were only meant to be in Perth for a week to play the Pro League, and then Perth got into lockdown. So we got stuck in Perth for 3 weeks, and we weren't sure if we had to fly straight from Perth to the Olympic Games or we were gonna be able to fly
Yes.
home and then fly the Olympic Games. But it actually kind of ended up working out all right because although we were all together, we could still do the running and everything, but we couldn't obviously get onto a turf, when we were in Perth as well. So it kind of made it a little bit difficult for us. And then we got home. We managed to get home and see our families before we jumped on the plane and obviously went to Japan, which was a bit of a weird feeling boarding a plane when it's athletes. Um, yeah, and heading to Tokyo.
Um, the obviously you were sort of restricted in the sense that you were only allowed in your sort of like New Zealand house, or basically between the New Zealand house and the pitch. Did you get to see anything, or was it just four walls of the bedroom, pitch side back?
Yeah, pretty much. It was pretty much you were in the village or you're at the hockey turf, and that's kind of where you were. Um, Apart from that, you didn't really see too much. You may have been in the dining hall and seen someone famous, but most of the famous ones were obviously not at the village as well. But
Yeah,
yeah, we obviously had quite a few strict rules being from New Zealand and being, really strict down here. It was a bit weird seeing
yeah,
other countries being a bit looser than what we probably were. But yeah, we actually had to, once we left Tokyo, we had to go on 14 days of MIQ, when we got back to New Zealand. So we got locked in a hotel room, by yourself for 14 days and only had an hour outside each day. So it was pretty crazy.
yeah. I'm sure, especially if you've come from outdoor farm life to then
Yeah.
being stuck in a room with 1 hour a day outside. I'm sure you
Yeah.
were loving.
Yeah. And the worst thing was you were at Christchurch Airport watching the planes fly in and out, which is
Oh
probably
no,
worse.
see, that is work.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so obviously you had Tokyo, and then unfortunately you missed out on the Paris games. Not to bring back old wounds, but what's that situation like then going? You've done Tokyo, it's great, and then the missing out of Paris.
Yeah, it was probably a really, really tough time for everyone in our team and in our program. But especially me, it was a pretty tough time for myself as well, and being an athlete, I guess.
Yeah,
You invest so much time for 4 years to go to such a major event, and then it can get ripped away from you in literally an hour, if not probably less. It takes what, five
yeah,
seconds to score a goal sometimes, but yeah, going to India and not qualifying was super tough. We were in a pretty tough pool as well, which we knew was gonna happen, but, yeah, I think that was a really tough year for me last year. It was probably one where you question whether or not you should have played rugby or you should have played hockey,
yes,
or, you sit there and you watch the rugby girls go and win gold at, the sevens tournament. So there's a lot of questions that go through your head, whether or not it's, worth it, whether or not it's something that you wanna continue to do and continue to put yourself in this position of, the ups and the downs, and that was definitely a massive down. But I was very, very lucky to have the people that I did have around me. My partner, my parents, obviously helping you kinda get out of a bit of a hole. It's quite a dark time when you're in that as well. But yeah, I was very lucky to have the people around me. One of my best friend, Caitlin Cotter, who I play a lot of hockey with, she didn't make the qualification team. She was a traveling reserve and then went home. But obviously, having someone that you've done everything with your whole life and is your best friend before for hockey understands it. But I think a
yeah,
lot of people around you don't understand why you're so upset or why, and you probably get quite angry. Like I got quite angry at my parents and my family and people around me because they just didn't understand it. Where the girls understood why and understood why it was
yes,
so hard, and then you're not around them, and then you kinda left a bit lonely as well, which was really tough. And then when the Paris Olympics started, I didn't watch any of that. To be fair,
fair
couldn't
enough.
watch any of that. I think I watched our boys play, and supported our boys because 'cause we're very lucky to have a good relationship with our boys team as well. So I watched them play and watched a bit of the Olympics, but it's probably the first Olympic Games that I have barely watched since I was born really, which was quite sad. But I guess it was also something that I kind of watched, and once it finished, it was like, "Oh, thank God that's over." But it was also
Yeah,
something that added a lot of fuel to the fire. It was something that I never wanted to go through again. And I was probably overtraining at the time as well. So I was probably training 3-4 times a day, which was a bit ridiculous. Spent most of my
Okay.
time on the turf, most of my time running the hills out on the farm or doing something. And I think it fueled a lot of motivation, but it was also could be quite a negative motivation as well, and putting your body through a lot of probably pain and suffering. I
Yeah.
can laugh about it now, but that's okay. But yeah, it was a really, really tough time. And then I guess I kind of flicked a switch probably a year ago after it finished, or yeah,
Okay.
just after it finished, maybe a month or two after it finished. It was really flicked a switch for me, and it was something that I never wanted our girls to experience again. It's kind of when I got asked to be in the captaincy role as well, from Phil, and
Yeah.
I guess leading into Nations Cup. It was just something I really didn't want anyone else to have to experience. There's only a few girls in our team now that were at that qualification. I
Yeah.
think there's maybe me, Casey, and Grace, so maybe 4 or 3
Okay.
or 4 of us. There's not many of us left from when that happened. And there's Cotter and Hannah Cotter and Hope as well, but there's not too many of us left that were at that qualification that felt that.
Yeah.
But yeah, my big thing is as a captain is to never let my girls have to feel that kind of pain of not going to a major. So
Yeah.
this year, although last year was probably the toughest year of my career, this year's probably been one of the best years of my career. Obviously winning Nations Cup and then doing what we did in the weekend has been, so incredible, and has made all that hard work worth it. And it's, sport's a roller coaster sometimes, and sport can be
Exactly.
so hard and so rough, and then it can be like I am now and be, on cloud nine and on top of the world. So yeah, it's been tough, but it's obviously you learn a lot. And yeah,
Yeah.
so that's kind of that.
I mean, you've got to look at it in the positive sense that you've had that downtime, just like you said. You've I mean, the Nations Cup was February,
Ye
so it was what, four months pretty much after that, the Olympics ending. So you've used that. It wasn't an easy Nations Cup by any stretch of it. It was decent enough teams. You lost to Ireland in the first one, in that first game, and then you had to play them then in the final, which is just, that's a hard mentality to go into. And our girls do sometimes decide to really mess things up sometimes in finals, but I'll not say that to them and to their face. But you know, it is difficult, and you won the Nations Cup, won then arguably a harder 3-match sort of series against Australia. So currently it's working, and LA is only 2.5 years away now, so it'll come around quickly.
Yeah, it definitely will, and I think that's the thing. I guess one thing that we've really focused on as well is the high pressured moments, and kind of how we cope with pressured moments, because it's something that we haven't done so well in the past. And I think the way that our kind of team has gelled together in the last, I guess, year has been pretty incredible. And lots of people said that when we played Aussie, is like you looked like you were playing for each other, and that's something that we've really shifted probably in the last couple of years, is just playing together. And I guess we have it pretty not rough down here, but we don't have it like other countries do. And I
Yeah,
think that's something that we band together a lot on. We're a little country. It's like any sport here in New Zealand. We're a little country, and we always punch well above our weight. So to do what we did in the weekend, and do that, and we've got to play for each other. We're not, I think we spend in a total 50 days together in a year. That's all our
wow.
time we have together. That's camps, games, weeks on tour, that's everything. So we only spend 50 days together, where I went for coffee for Kayla Whitelock the other week, and she said she got 50 test matches in her first year. So that's how different the program's changed in the last 10 years, is that people used to be centralised and play 50 games a year, where now we're
Yeah,
only, together 50 days a year, which is pretty crazy.
it is. But again, you can look at it as you're only spending 50 days together, but still achieving what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
which is, I would arguably say, a bigger success there.
Yeah, and I guess that's probably why all the passion and the things that came from the weekend is such a huge achievement for us, because it's the biggest achievement that we've had since being
Yeah.
decentralized and being in a decentralized program, and that's a massive credit to our management and staff though as well. I guess Phil coming in, he had to step into a decentralized program as well, and it was all a bit different for everyone. So for him to step in the position that he's done, and I guess the game plan he's put together, the team he's put together, the leadership group, and I'm very lucky to work alongside him as well. And
Yeah.
we all get along really well, because we kind of have to, but we also want to,
Yeah.
and that's how we all get better as well. So yeah, it's a real cool team to be part of at the moment, and the culture is super good. And when your culture's going well, then things usually start to shift pretty quickly.
Brilliant. That's great to hear, and
Yeah.
long may it continue. To be
Yeah.
honest, um, obviously, then so you've got your next major tournament, which is the Birmingham Commonwealth Games.
Yeah. Yeah.
What, like, that's obviously completely different experience from the COVID Tokyo Games, but a different experience. Is it less pressure or more pressure because there's a slightly higher chance of success?
Yeah, it was a funny one, because we had World Cup before Com Games.
Oh,
So
yes.
yeah, we had the World Cup. So, and then we only had 2 weeks or a week between the two or something. It was quite close. So we ended up being together for almost 2 months, 2.5 months. We traveled and toured together, which is quite hard to, travel and tour together as a team for that long. But since we were so far away from home, it just made sense for us to stay
Yeah.
over and carry on. There was no point in us going home. But we did really well at the World Cup. Again, we had a pretty inexperienced young team as well at the World Cup, and we equaled our best ever. So we came fifth. We topped our pool, which was pretty crazy. And then obviously going to the Com Games after the World Cup, having a successful World Cup, you kind of expect going into a Com Games having quite a successful Com Games, and we didn't, and that was quite tough as well. We played England in our semi-final, obviously at home in the Birmingham
Yeah.
University crowd, which we all know what that one's like.
Yep.
And yeah, obviously went to a shootout, lost the shootout, and then played India in the third and fourth, and then lost on another shootout again,
Yeah.
uh, which is quite tough to lose on 2 shootouts. But then again, you fast forward to this year, we've just won 3 shootouts this year, which I think is a record for us, which is crazy.
Yes.
Kind of where we've shifted over the last few years as well.
Yeah. Um, Obviously that tournament was, Commonwealth Games are, I think, really special, and I think it's special for those people that are in it and are part of it. Is it a bit gutting that it's not taking place again? Next, what would be next year? Isn't it? Yeah, what would be next year in Glasgow?
Yeah, it's obviously, yeah, you're obviously really gutted about it, especially it being Melbourne, which would be the closest
Yeah.
one for us at home. So it's pretty much as close as what we would get to a home Commonwealth Games, because I don't think
Yeah.
Maybe New Zealand in the future might host one, but um, yeah, it's the closest thing that we would get to a home Commonwealth Games. So everyone was so excited for it, and then obviously for that to happen and it not to go ahead, is pretty. You're pretty gutted about it. And then at the time, we also had the pressure of qualifying for a World Cup after not qualifying for Paris, and it all kind of happened at the same time, which was crazy. So this
Yeah.
tournament, obviously Oceania knew how massive that was, because, if you don't make the World Cup, then what's on next year type thing for us. So for us to make the World Cup was huge, but obviously not having Com Games is really gutting for us, because that's also an extra 5 games and another tournament structure that you have to then go to these major games and play. Because yeah, I think if we had Com Games, that's an extra 5 games that we have leading into the World Cup now we don't have as well. So you also got to look at that side, and you don't get many high pressured situations or high pressured moments, and that adds another tournament to us. That adds a more experience for us. especially building into LA with the team that we have as well. We need girls with more experience. We need girls to play
Yeah.
tournaments. We need girls to do that. So when we get to LA and we're going to qualify for LA, that
Yes, you are.
that's they've had an extra tournament under their belt, which now we don't have, unfortunately.
Yeah. Are you, so obviously, so you did that tour to the US, to China, or is that sort of the idea that you guys are going to go, right, if we can't make it to a tournament or if we've missed out, we're going to, fly to China, play a couple of matches there, play against South Africa, play against these other teams that may have missed out as well, that you can get just international experience together?
Yeah, definitely is trying to probably source it from somewhere else. And that's kind of what we've done this year as well, with USA not being in the Pro League either and being in Nations Cup. So, and they're getting better and better, USA as well. So yeah, just I guess playing those tournaments and those games are really crucial for us as well, and playing practice matches alongside those as well to get girls ready for big tournaments. But I guess there's always the practice game versus a test match it was so
Yes.
different, which is always quite hard. But at the end of the day, we need games, we need girls playing, so we'll take anything at this point. We will, yeah. So we're very fortunate to have had those two lead-ins into what we have, and I suppose we'll continue to do that and continue to take whatever we get offered in our calendar year as well.
Brilliant. Stepping away then from sort of international hockey and going sort of back to club hockey, we said at the start, you've been great, and now understanding why you've played for so many clubs and that decentralized program of allowing you to go and play in all these different teams in the league. What's been what's your favorite league to play in? You obviously played Australia, England, New Zealand, Australia. What's been the favorite to play in?
Oh, I haven't played in the Aussie League yet, so this is my first time.
Okay, this is the first.
In 3 weeks yet to go play, so I'm heading there to play. But yeah, I guess they're all very, very different. The India League was obviously very, very different, but
Yes.
enjoyed that, and it was so cool to play with other girls that you've played against, for so many years, and now you're all on the same team, which was a bit weird, but it was also really cool to play alongside them. So I was very fortunate to play with Lottie Engelbird, Charlotte Steppenhorst, Penny Squibb,
Yes.
Mariah Shaw, all those girls, Hime and all of those ones, which was really cool. Natty from Chile as well. So, and Sophie Hamilton as well, which is quite funny because she's obviously an England girl. So yeah, that was a really cool tournament to be a part of and play that. And it was obviously the first women's one that they've had as well. So to be a part of that history and that legacy of, having the first women's India league was really cool. And I guess everything else has kind of been really cool in itself. Like the playing the England league's been really fun. Obviously transferring in England as well. And then yeah, I always love playing at home though. I'm a big homebody. It doesn't seem like it with the amount of clubs I've been in the last couple of years, but yeah, I love playing at home. We've got a new league now, PHL, which started last year. Is similar to Hockey One, kind of run quite similarly. And that was the first year that happened last year. And it's a really, really exciting tournament. It's 4 teams, and it's just so fun to play at home. It's fun to play with people that you've played with your whole age group, and then you play with them, obviously, in the regional stuff. And I guess there's always a little bit more when you play for your home region that's done so much for you. There's always a bit of passion. We always come up against our big rivals too, which is actually all 3 teams, to be fair. And it's quite funny. You're best friends off the pitch, but when you play each other, it's just it's the be all and end all, really. It's quite fun. Yeah.
That new league, obviously bonus of winning it as well last year was always good. It looks really good. Yeah, like you said, it sort of mirrors that Hockey One league.
Yeah.
Was that something that was brought in out of necessity of needing a nationwide sort of league for the top players to play in?
Yeah, we used to have one, and then there was a bit of restructure with what we were doing, and then this was something that has been in the pipeline, and then obviously it coming to life last year was something that was really exciting. It being on free to air TVNZ as well, plus which was also a massive move for hockey, and yeah, it's a really exciting tournament. Obviously it's its first year, and it's happened for the first year, but I think it'll grow and it'll get exciting. Hockey One obviously took a few years as well to get going, and now
Yeah.
it's booming Hockey One. So yeah, I think hopefully we can get some international players down to little old New Zealand as well, and it can really take off. So it's a really exciting tournament to have.
Yeah. I think it's great. The, the like you said, the 4 team structure. I think people would initially look at that and be like, "Well, it's only 4 teams. How can you get a
Yeah.
good turn like that?" But actually, it's 3 incredibly hard games. It's you know, like you said, if you're playing for your region, there's a bit more passion behind it. I think sometimes people don't understand that. They just go, "That's just a hockey team."
Yeah. Yeah, there it is yeah, there's a lot of passion that's played, and I guess that's kind of how we play on the international stage. We have to play with a lot of passion and a lot of fight, and then I guess if
Yeah.
you come to New Zealand and come to this comp, there's a lot of passion and a lot of fight probably in this, comp as well. It's quite funny, people probably think that I'm best friends with people that play in the Tridents, which is our North Island team, and then you go and play them, and it's like, are you guys really friends?" Quite funny, but yeah, no, it's a real fun competition, and yeah, I think it's gonna have huge strides for us, and it's gonna be really helpful for us as well. Obviously, being decentralized, having these programs that even
Yeah.
having different games all across the country as well. And we play 2 rounds, so you still get 6 games plus finals as well. So yeah, there's a lot of hockey, and just trying to get it out to the community as well, and get the community to get in behind it as well, which is really exciting.
Yeah. And then playing over in the English leagues, obviously very different. I would assume you've gone from somewhat decent crowds at those sort of New Zealand games to potentially playing in front of one man and his dog on a Saturday or a Friday night in pouring rain.
Yes, yeah. I came
Yes.
straight from Chile to England. Um,
Brilliant.
yeah, then it was a real shock to the system getting off the plane and going to training. I was gone from 35 to probably -4 or something. I didn't realize how
Yes.
bloody cold it gets in England. I thought New Zealand was cold, but England's a lot colder. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed my time in England, and played, um, obviously for East Grinstead that second half, and obviously it didn't go as well as what we wanted to, but, yeah, we had a really good team, and the girls in that team were yeah, there's some incredible players in that team as well. Obviously, Tess Howard, Lil Walker, Grace Boston, and Ellie Ray all play in there as well,
Yeah.
but then you've also got the ones that are, coming through for them as well, which is really exciting to see. And obviously, Bieber Mills plays for them as well. So she's a bit of a worry for me when she's coming through the England system.
Yes. No, it's again a good league. You've got international players now just wanting to play on it, um, opposed to previously where it was like, is it something that we want to do? But no, you've got the internationals coming over, which is fantastic to play in, and then you've you've obviously said yourself that that first ever women's year of that Hockey India League was it something that you knew was coming and were like, yeah, put your hand up, going, I definitely want to be in that, or did it come around and it was sort of a bit of a, oh, I guess that would be great to try and get into.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of something I saw it coming, but didn't really know if I was going to go or not. And then obviously spoke to a few people about it, and then just was like, why not? Why not give it a crack? Why not go and do it? Because I don't know if I would, potentially ever do it again. Like, this is perfect timing for me,
Yes.
to go and do it. So that's kind of how it happened, and just ripped the Band-Aid off and went. But I was also very lucky. with the coaching staff that I had. So I had Jude Menzies and Sean Dancer, who obviously
Yeah.
coached the Black Six when I was 17, when I very first made the team. So it was all quite funny coming in a full
Yeah.
circle really, and it was the first time this had happened and the first time they'd coached me in this environment, when it was, the very first time they coached me when they picked me up at 17 as well. So yeah, it was quite nice to be back there, and it almost felt like home with them being
Yeah.
coaches as well. So yeah, it was cool to be back with them and being coached by them as well.
Yeah. What was the standard of obviously, like, it was very high. Was it? I'm always interested, certainly with this. Is it obviously everyone knows how to play hockey, so you're not doing
Yeah.
the usual, right? Let's just pass back and forth to each other. Is it just focusing on, right, with a short time? Let's get a structure sorted that we all know how to play.
Yeah, Jude and Sean did an incredible job. Obviously, they're both incredible coaches and have very big resumes, the two of them. So, yeah, I guess, and they've worked together before as well. So they had a game plan in place, and I was kind of sitting there and I was being like, I've seen this game plan for the game plan before. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was obviously stuff that they had watched everyone, and they've watched a lot of hockey, and they've watched a lot of women's hockey as well. So they had the trends of women's hockey, and I guess it was just trying to shape something that suited majority of us. It might not
Yeah.
potentially suit everyone, but yeah, it worked for us. We obviously, the only game that we lost was the final, which was really unfortunate. But
Yes.
yeah, it clicked really well. And when you've got some of the world's best players all sitting in the room, like Maria, Stappy, and Lotta Engelbert all sitting there, it was pretty
Yeah.
easy to kind of get things ticking over when you've got that many hockey brains, I guess, sitting in a room with that much experience as well. And I guess for me, it was one of those massive things of learning kind of a different style as well, and how other countries, I guess, operate. And it was also interesting, obviously, sharing that we're in a decentralized program and that we don't train together, and people can't believe that that happens to us when, other people are in a different position in comparison to us. And then another country's in a completely different position as well. So that was also really interesting.
Yeah. And how much of that can you take? You know, not so much, right, that player does this, so when we play against them internationals, I know they're going to do this, but how much of playing in that style of a group can you bring back to New Zealand to sort of help, or, go, right, this is how how most teams play at this point, but does it help at all?
Yeah, obviously, I guess it broadens your hockey knowledge mostly for me.
Okay.
Like, I guess every place I've gone, I've learnt something new, with different, if that's different pressing, if that's different outletting, if that's different, skills. Obviously
Yeah.
being exposed to different coaching as well has been really helpful.
Yeah.
Obviously the first time I turned up and got coached by Nick Vanderak, who is an incredible coach as well, and getting coached by him, and obviously a really good goal scorer as well, which is really helpful for me. Just like taking, picking their brain and understanding how they operate as well. And that was a bit like, picking Charlotte Stappenhorse's brain on how she scores her goals or how she thinks when she's in the circle, and even the way that she
Yeah.
talks, you're just kind of sitting there, and you're a bit of a sponge at the time and just trying to soak up as much info as you can from everyone, to then take
Yeah.
back, and then, take drips and drabs back to New Zealand and see, hey, this, works over here, and this is what I've been told, and this is what I've been taught, and spreading that as much as we can, especially in New Zealand,
Yeah.
and exposing, I guess, girls on the team to different stuff and different ways of thinking as well, and also pushing girls in our team to go away and experience it as well, to grow their hockey knowledge and their hockey ability.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think it's a back home here in our Irish league, we don't send a lot of people away. There's only out of the men's and even the women's, there's maybe only about 4 or 5 people that play away. And I think sometimes people are scared to go and do it. And
Yeah.
it can only help, just like you said, you're bringing back other knowledge from other teams, countries, players that you would never be exposed to before.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's also the experience that you get as well. Especially for us, we obviously, like I said, I had to play men's club here to try get, a bit more of a push. But going to England,
Yeah,
you can play in the women's comp and, get pushed a bit more over there as well. And that makes you better. The more games you play, the more experience that you get. And it's regardless of what game that you play. Although I play men's hockey, I learn a lot off them as well and how they
yeah,
operate. I can't push past a ball sometimes because 'cause they're so fast that they pick it off, or you think a pass is on and then next minute it's not. So you learn a lot off any game that you play. But, yeah, I think playing overseas is so important, and, I guess it's something that I tell our girls to do if they're questioning about it. It's just like, "Just go do it because in 10 years' time, you won't be doing it."
yeah,
So go do it.
yeah, exactly. And then coming off the pitch and off hockey altogether, what's your go-to sort of relaxation away from it all?
Oh, I'm a bit of an active relaxer, shock horror.
Okay.
I can't really sit still. So yeah, look, I try I go for lots of walks, I guess, which isn't really relaxing, I suppose, but and also spending I'm a big family person. I spend a lot of time with my friends, and I think that's the cool thing about hockey is not necessarily the all the achievements or everything that's happened, it's also all the people that you've met. So I've been really lucky
Yeah.
to meet some pretty incredible people all over the world now. So I feel like wherever I go in the world, I've got someone that I can go have a coffee with, which is pretty crazy. So but yeah, I think for me, it's just, if it's going for a walk with my dog or going for a walk with, friends and family or going and getting a coffee, that's probably the best way I like to relax and fill my cup up. And that gets me going, I guess. I feel like I've been around forever, but I've got also forever to go as well. I feel like I'm only halfway
Yeah.
through my career and have such a long career. But for me to have a long career, I also love my time off the pitch. I guess we talk a lot about in our team hockey frothers, and Phil, one of our coach, he just like loves hockey. He will talk hockey like no tomorrow. So we call them hockey frothers down here, and I love hockey, but I certainly don't love hockey to that that extent of talking 24/7. Hence why my stick knowledge isn't that probably great. But yeah, I think that's a big thing for me is just spending time away from the turf and enjoying that as well.
Yeah, I saw that you've done some fairly big holidays over in Europe, and bit the piece of that is traveling something that you like to do. Just I know you travel quite a lot, but is it something that's that you like doing away from hockey then as well?
Yeah, yeah, I love traveling. I've been very lucky to, I guess what, I'm 24 now and I made the team when I was 17. So I've done a lot of travel, but to also travel with my family and travel with my partner as well, who was over in England playing rugby, and at the time I was playing hockey. So to I guess go and experience that with him as well, and also have my family. My family pretty much comes to everything that they possibly can. They never did an OE, so mum and dad say this is their OE. So they're living their life too, which is really cool. So I think that's a big thing for me is obviously I love traveling, but I don't love traveling by myself. I love, traveling with family, love traveling with friends. Obviously, there's girls on the team that I've traveled with as well because I've known them for so long. So to experience, obviously, I think after World Cup and Com Games, I did quite a bit of travel with Caitlin and Hope and Anna, who
Okay.
are girls that I've played with, through Central and Hawke's Bay as well. So yeah, I did some travel with them. So I've never actually traveled by myself, which is a weird thing to say, but yeah, I love traveling with the people, but I also love being at home with my people as well. So they're the ones that get me through every day and get me through my hockey. So to spend some time with them is always nice.
And even though you had to um take them out there, big dog person, like going on walks with them, or is it just farm dog and he just roam?
Yeah, no, she's tamed down a little bit now. Yeah, no, I also love getting out on the farm. Well, I get home on the farm. Dad probably doesn't think I really go and help him, but I try to get out and do it at the moment. So, it's nice to have the dog at home as well. So, yeah, it's good.
Brilliant. But no, I appreciate you've given a lot of time for us, and I've only got a couple more questions. These are the ones I've
Yes.
asked everybody. So it's interesting to see everyone's responses to these.
Yeah.
Where's been your favorite place you've played hockey?
Oh, you've got me at a good time. I would say Darwin, probably. That's probably
Well,
you're
that's right,
like,
actually.
you've probably got me at the wrong. I probably would have answered to something else last week, but probably right now, Darwin. Honestly, like it was such a good experience, and like being part of that team, part of that culture, and part of that experience as well was probably up there. And having my family, and it's my first overseas trip that my partner's actually been on too. So yeah, that's probably also why it was so good. But I also love the Com Games in Birmingham as well, and Tokyo. They're all really special tournaments to me, and the debut as well, and at home.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. That's not where I thought it was
Yeah.
going, but I
No,
can
I
understand
probably wouldn't have been last week either.
it. um, this one's been a fun one to ask everybody. What's been a rule in the past couple of seasons that you've either loved or hated?
A role?
Yeah.
Oh, loved or hated? Look, I'm liking the defenders tackling over the baseline to give us these things.
Yes, that's fair enough.
Really helpful for us. And probably the one that I've hated is the overhead roll. It changes every 2
Yeah.
seconds. I don't get it sometimes, but that's all right. We move on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is what fifth or sixth recording that I've done, and everyone said,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just
It's been one.
it's difficult. I don't know how you fix it, but
Yeah. Yeah. We had some in Darwin as well, which were a bit confusing. So
yeah, yeah. But look, it'll be fixed, and we'll all go, that.
yeah. 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 It will be one day, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. What's then? This can benefit only you as a player. It can benefit the team. It can benefit hockey in general. What would be a rule that you would bring in?
Ooh. What a role. Jeepers, this is quite a tough one.
I know
Role I would bring in is
we've had extra time. We've had
that's probably
the final play where the ball, as long as the
I'd
ball's
probably go
gone.
drop off. We used to do drop offs at school, but go drop offs instead of shootouts. So
Okay.
drop to like 5v5 or like 6v6 full field. And then
Okay.
every minute
That's
it
cool.
drops off to 4 and then go
Yeah.
shootouts. That'd be mine.
Okay. Yeah. Not angry at that one whatsoever.
Yeah. That'd probably be me.
Okay. And last one, probably the most important. When you are going to training or for a match, how do you put your socks and shoes on? Do you put sock, shoe, shoe, or sock, shoe, shoe?
Oh, I'm sock, shoe.
Good. Happy day.
Yeah.
Good. That's okay. The episode can go out. We can all be friends. As long as you didn't have a full shoe on and a pair
No,
out, we were
I'm definitely not. I'm definitely sock, shoe.
brilliant. But no, like Olivia, thank you very much for doing this. Is there anything that you want to plug, push people towards, anything like that?
Probably not. No, that's probably
Fair.
it. I feel like I've covered most.
I think you have. I think it's been very, very good. Thank you
Thank you
very
so much
much.
for having me as well. Yeah, it's been good.
Brilliant. And thank you very much for everyone that's watched or listened. You can watch the episode on YouTube, or if you don't want to watch my face for an hour, which is completely fair enough, you can listen to it on Spotify. But just the final thing is thank you very, very much, Olivia, and all the best for the rest of the season.
Thank you.